Dear students, good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about new chapter from physics, winds, storms and cyclones. Chapter 8. The important points we want to discuss in this chapter is wind, air exerts pressure, air pressure, air expands on heating and wind currents. These are the main points we want to discuss in this video. Okay, now we can start. Okay, there are some pictures. Orissa super cyclone 1999. Do you heard about cyclones? Yes. In Orissa was hit by a cyclone with wind speed of 200 km per hour on 18 October 1999. The cyclone smashed 45,000 houses, making 7 lakh people homeless. On 29 October the same year, a second cyclone with wind speed of 260 km per hour hit Orissa again. It was accompanied by water waves about 9-meter height. Thousands of people lost their lives. Property worth crores of rupees was destroyed. The cyclone affected agriculture, transport, communication and electricity supply. But water cyclones, how are they formed? Why are they so destructive? In this chapter, we shall seek answers to some of these questions. Okay, in this chapter, there are so many activities involving air. These activities will clarify some basic features concerning a cyclone. Before we begin, remember that we know that a wind, what do you mean by wind? Is moving air is called the wind. Okay, now we are going to our first topic, air exerts pressure. So we can watch one video.
Do you know that air can crush things? You do not believe me? Let me show you.
Take some boiling water and pour it into a plastic bottle using a funnel. Do not fill it completely, just a little less than half the bottle. Cap it tightly. Now pour cold water over the bottle and watch it get crushed. What happened here? When the boiling hot water was poured into the bottle, the steam pushed some of the air out. At the same time, the air above the water surface was heated and hence expanded. This also pushed some of the air out, and the amount of air inside the bottle reduced. Then when we capped the bottle, the air could not enter back in. Finally, when we poured cold water over the bottle, the steam condensed to water and the air cooled and contracted. This led to lowering of air pressure inside the bottle. As the air pressure inside the bottle fell significantly below the pressure exerted by the air on the outside, the walls crashed in.
Okay students, from this video, we can say that as water is poured over the can, what happened? Some steam in the can condenses into water, reducing the amount of air inside. So condensation takes place. So the air inside the can is reduced. Okay, then the pressure of air inside the can decreases. So we know that the amount of air inside the can is reduced, so that the the pressure of air also reduced, also decreases than the pressure exerted by the air from outside the can. As a result, the can gets compressed. Okay. Next topic, high speed winds are accompanied by reduced air pressure. Yes, we know that high speed winds, it is due to the reduced air pressure. We can check it. So we can watch some activities, videos, okay.
Take a piece of paper and crumple it into the small ball. Now hold the empty glass bottle and place the paper ball just inside its mouth. Try to blow the ball to force into the bottle. Observe carefully. The paper ball is not moving inside the bottle. Do you know why? Actually, when we blow into the mouth of the bottle, the air near the mouth has higher speed. This decreases the pressure there. The air pressure inside the bottle is higher than near the bottle. When we blow the ball inside the bottle, the air inside the bottle pushes the ball out. So children, we concluded that increased wind speed is accompanied by reduced air pressure.
From this activity we can say that when we blow a paper ball into the mouth of the bottle, what happens? The air near the mouth has higher speed. Okay, this decreases the pressure there. The air pressure inside the bottle is higher than near the mouth. The air inside the bottle pushes the ball out. So it is very difficult to force the paper ball into the bottle. Okay, now we can go into the second video.
We have two balloons tied with strings and stuck at a height. What will happen if you blow between the balloons? Let's take a look. Unlike what we expect, the balloons actually come together and stick to each other when air is blown between them. Why did this happen? When air is blown between the balloons, the air starts moving at a higher speed than the air around it.
In this activity, you saw that when you blew between the balloons, they moved towards each other. Right? This could happen if the pressure of air between the balloons were somehow reduced. When we blew between the balloons, what happens? Yes, the pressure of air between the balloons is reduced. Then the pressure outside the balloons would then push them towards each other. Right? Okay, now we can move to the last video.
Let's do another experiment. Hold a strip of paper between your thumb and forefinger. Now blow hard over the paper. The paper will start lifting up. Why? When you blow air over the paper, the air molecules get carried away. Hence, the air becomes lighter, and we know lighter wind gives lesser pressure. It means the air pressure drops too. So, the air pressure beneath the paper is now greater. Wind from there rushes towards the low pressure area and lifts the paper in its way. So, the air moves from high pressure to low pressure zone.
Okay students, from this activity, in this activity you saw that when you blew over the paper strip, what happens? It went upwards. Again, this could happen if blowing over the paper reduced the air pressure above the strip. So, this paper strip went upwards. Okay, so from these all activities, from these three activities, we can infer that the increased wind speed is indeed accompanied by a reduced air pressure. So, can you imagine what would happen if high speed winds blew over the roofs of buildings? If the roofs were weak, they could be lifted and blown away, right? Okay. Okay students, you already know that when air moves, it is called what? Wind, right? Okay, air moves from the region where the air pressure is high to the region where the pressure is low. Okay, the greater the difference in pressure, the faster the air moves. But how are the pressure differences created in nature? Is difference in temperature involved? Okay, the following activities will help you to understand this. So we can move to the next topic. Air expands on heating. Now we can move or watch one video.
Take a boiling tube, a sellotape and two beakers. One is containing hot water and the second is containing cold water. Stretch a balloon tightly over the neck of the test tube. You can use a tape to make it tight. Now, place the test tube into hot water beaker. Do you see any change in the shape of the balloon? Yes, it is getting inflated. It is because the hot water heats up the air inside the test tube, due to which the air inside the test tube expands. This air seeks more space and therefore the balloon inflates. Now, take out the test tube and the balloon from the hot water and place it inside the cold water beaker. Observe the change in the shape of the balloon. You will observe that the same balloon deflates when the tube is kept inside the cold water. It is because air contracts upon cooling. Because the cold water cools down the air inside the test tube, due to which the air inside the bottle contracts. Thus, a low pressure area is created inside the balloon and therefore the balloon deflates.
Take a wooden stick and tie a piece of thread in the middle of it. Then take two equal-sized paper bags and hang them in the inverted position on the two ends of a wooden stick. Hold the stick with the help of a thread and place a burning candle below one of the bags. We notice that the balance of the two bags got disturbed. This is because as the warm air rises up, it pushes the bag above the candle. So we concluded that on heating, the air expands, occupying more space and eventually becomes lighter. Therefore, warm air is lighter than the cold air. So children, that is the reason why smoke always goes up.
So in this video, we can say that when boiling tube immersed in hot water, what happens? Yes, the balloon expands. And when boiling tube immersed in ice cold water, what happens? It contracts, right? What is the reason? Okay, we can say that on heating the air expands and occupies more space, right? When the same thing occupies more space, it becomes lighter. The warm air is therefore lighter than the cold air. Okay, so we can say that the warm air is lighter than the cold air. On heating, what happens to the air? Air expands and occupies more space. So we can say that air expands on heating. Okay students, do you know that in nature there are several situations where warm air rises at a place? The air pressure at that place is lowered. The cold air from the surroundings areas rushes in to fill its place. This setup, convection in air, as you learned in chapter 4, right? Convection, conduction, etc. You already learned. So it is known as convection of air. Okay. Now we can move to the next topic. Wind currents are generated due to uneven heating on the earth. Uneven heating between the equator and the poles, and also uneven heating of land and water.
Uneven heating of the earth. Due to the uneven heating between the equator and the poles, and uneven heating of land and water, wind currents are primarily generated. Maximum heat from the sun is received by the regions close to the equator. Due to this, the air in the region gets warm. the warm air rises and the cooler air from the regions in the latitude belt from either side of the equator move in. These winds blow from north to south of the equator. Air is colder at the poles than at the latitudes about 10 degrees. Therefore, the warm air at these latitudes rises up. Cold air from the poles rushes in. Wind circulation is set up in this way. The winds would flow in a north-south direction or in a south to north direction. Rotation of the earth may cause change in the direction of winds. During summer, land near the equator warms up faster and the temperature of the land is high most of the time than the oceans. The air over the land gets heated and rises. This causes the wind to flow from oceans to the land. These are called as monsoon winds. The Arabic word for monsoon is mawsum, which means season. During winter, the direction of wind flow is reversed. It flows from the land to the ocean. The winds from the ocean carry water and bring rain, which is a part of the water cycle. The monsoon wind.
Okay students, now we can move to our last session exercise. First one, wind is dash air. Second one, wind are generated due to dash heating on the earth. Third one, state 2 experiences that made you think that air exerts pressure. You can write 2 experiences. Thank you students.